fearless bans, but still some similar bans coming across here. Not really any junglers getting taken away yet as the Kalista, Gwen, and Nico stick to the ban phase for a second game in a row.
Yeah, I just think there are some really premier champions that need to be out of the picture. I love that Shen is getting respect. Over in NACL, people are playing him a lot less, and nothing's changed about him, mind you. He's still the same Shen that was buffed like 4 patches in a row and is very strong. So, good move to get rid of that. Thank you, JDG. I feel seen.
So no Flandre, Shen going to be coming out here nonetheless, as the final ban is Varus. So we're taking away 5 marksmen with the fearless bans added in here. But this is a staple Tarzan pick. Tarzan does get his first loss. He goes 9-1 on that Nefiri, but his next best so far is going to be this Pantheon.
Yeah, and I mean, it feels like the natural pick, especially considering the fact that Galio's out of the picture, Shen is banned too, so not very many options to match you on the global. The only real one available is Ryze. Scout wants to go that angle, but instead it's going to be the Annie, so no chance to match the global, but the Yorick as well, which is a lot of fun for the split push potential.
Yep, so JDG are really playing their flag in a specific style of comp, right? They're going to be trying to play in a 4-man sort of style, maybe split even further out, but all on that side lane. The shift in the LPL meta really showing with those first 2 picks for JDG as Yorick and Annie Prio has risen. Yeah. Hope going to get his Kaisa, Zaya, and Rakan's the Lovers duo comes across here, beat down for the AL bot side.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You do want a little bit of that safety with Zaya, especially once you see Annie. Zaya stonks kind of go insane. And of course, it pairs well with Kael's Rakan too, so it makes sense. I'm curious what that third pick really is going to be for JDG, and I'm kind of looking forward as well. Just thinking that I think when I was watching VODS last night, I saw a pretty good response. I believe it was from BLG to the Yorick. It was Renekton, and they chain ganked the hell out of it. It was so funny. Like, it literally just put him in the dirt. And they did it again. Any gank timer was top lane, and it was hilarious.
That's great. Hey, we'll see if that's what Tarzan's about. Guy's certainly aggressive and confident.
Yeah.
Not privy to eliminating a single lane. And yeah, Yorick is one of those champions that if the lane states get too short for him or he falls behind, it feels unplayable on this champion. As we roll into the second phase of bans, just starting to take away good matchups into that Yorick to kind of stalemate the lane, so the Scion comes off the board for Flandre. Maybe they just might take away another tank, knowing that you have support and jungle already picked, so it's hard to find another place to get a tanky member on AL's comp.
Yeah, because, I mean, Rakan is good engaged, but is very squishy. So I guess they just wanted to remove a skirmishing option there, so they take away Shanks' Ahri. And it makes me wonder what Shanks is going to be looking towards there in that mid lane. Maybe we see the Ryze come through for him. There's still a lot of mid options up. Azir is on the table, very true. I'm trying to think what else is there. Victor is up.
Holy
like
Peyz
that.
bans. So, yeah, that's 4 bans for Peyz's pool. Remember, he has Ezreal and Corki taken off the board as well, so he's kind of shoehorned into playing the Lucian bottom lane. It's not bad, but you were running out of options, so I feel like this is the best bet here is Peyz on Lucian and a Chanter choice for missing.
Yeah, and I mean, it does it doesn't feel the best early on in lane just because, you know, shorter range. There's a chance of you being a little more susceptible to the Pantheon ganks that are going to come through. And okay, Shanks is going to lock in the Akali. You know, Slayer, you might not know this about me, but the way you are a Ezreal fan, I'm an Akali fan.
Oh,
so it's always fun to watch. Yes.
Most, you know
most played champion.
I don't know how you feel about Ezreal, but I will say, like, that is a respectable champion to die on the hill of, like, from skill expression. I am very impressed by Akali play, so.
Oh, oh, wow. So Flandre is just going to go ahead and drop the Nasus. I respect it. He says, you want to scale? Fine.
Let's fight for it.
Yeah.
They should go in all chat and just handshake like, hey, you want to farm out? And like, all right, yeah, I'll do it. There's nobody come top. We're farming. It's like they start farming. They just stand on opposite sides, just catch opposing waves constantly. I mean, they both got healing in their kit. Like, they could just do it forever.
I don't know necessarily how this matchup goes, just because I mean I've never seen it. But my impression is that I really like this Nasus pick because I feel like how it plays into the rest of the comp is going to be really favorable. I mean, that Wither against Peyz, he's just going to hate himself in his
Yeah.
entire life. The fact is, too, once we get later on into the game, I feel like it's going to be really difficult to take him down. And in 5v5s, he's just going to look so good. So it feels like he's going to be a better team fighter, and he also matches that split power that York's going with.
And that Wither also, you see a Lucian on the other side. Usually it's hard to like
You're
get.
cackling.
Yeah. It's like it's usually if this was like the Ezreal game last time, it's like all right, I'm never gonna Wither their enemy catering. Nah, Peyz this game, man, you have to play around that Wither. So I do really like the Nasus pick. Flandre, one of the widest champion pools of any top laner in the LPL so far for Split 2, and he's going deep in the bag once more to try and save this series or anyone's legend. The first time round, JDG got the 2-0, and they're looking to do it once more to close out a 10-win streak going into playoffs. But it's time to decide it on Summoner's Rift once more here between two teams already locked in for the playoffs.
Yeah, and of course, AL trying to tie the series up, take us the distance here and go to a Game 3. And of course, give them the opportunity to get the win instead. Be able to kind of take a step towards overcoming their propensity to lose against top teams in the league. And what a perfect time to be able to take that step right before playoffs end up starting.
Get out onto the Rift, and the Jayos start to sing through and lock us in for this game. Get a look across the board for some of these, you know, rune choices, summoner choices. The main thing that sticks out to me is it's been consistent from these Lucian players, but we do see Peyz rocking with that electrocute alongside the Ahri, so just maximizing the burst potential of this lane.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense. Electrocute Lucian has popped up a lot lately, whether it's with Milio or with the Nami. I think the thing that's most telling to me... Oh, hold on.
All right, so Tarzan not going to commit the stun start. Yeah, I don't even know.
Oh,
okay, or Tarzan just lets him go.
I guess he has to start as clear. Yeah.
True. W trade, though.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Al loses more than half of his health. So it's a pretty good start. But back to Peyz. I think the interesting summoner spell choice there, I think, is the cleanse. Sometimes you see ADs do that when they're against the Rakan, so they can cleanse the quickness. But I also think it's because you're seeing Flandre on the other side play the Nasus too. Because I just feel like there are going to be moments where he's going to be very happy he had cleanse later on in the game when he has to deal with Nasus.
I mean, like, it's got to be a top 5 tilting feeling as an AD carry player when you just get withered and it's like, oh, I moved
How is it not
super
top
slow.
1?
I mean, well, I think jungler smiting my cannon might tilt me more than getting withered. I can't lie.
True. You got me there. Also, I want to know what happened top lane. How did Ala lose all his health and ends up getting level 2 first? That's pretty surprising.
Nasus things. Nasus lanes,
yeah, you know, Nasus level 1. Fair enough.
Push comes through for Peyz and missing as well. So they've done some sizable chunk damage with that Nami healing. Is once again they're doubling down beatdown. That is a higher average than the last game. It's by a couple percentage points, but
yeah,
Twitch chat really believing in the series distance.
I respect it. I think once again I'm gonna agree with it, but I think this one is a little less clear in my eyes compared to how I felt about game 1.
Oh.
But okay, wow. Missing.
Flash shot of missing. Shun was doing the enemy red buff while Tarzan was spotted on a ward, so he's going to scrap with him. Shun way healthier. I don't see a world where Tarzan really wins this. He's going to use that big shield and flash back over the wall. Kael's going to follow, but Shun not going to commit his flash as well. Very low health bars, though. I mean, Tarzan, Kael, and Hope, they're so low, and they're going to get corralled on their turret, so Tarzan is going to lose even more camps. No kills, but still a stranglehold on this bot side from JDG.
I mean, missing and Peyz are low mana, so maybe there is that little bit of threat, but I mean, the health bars are just not in your favor. So Tarzan is effectively pushed out of his bottom side jungle. Red buff doesn't end up being taken, so that's something. But Shun is also, he's just doing the wraparound. Yeah.
All right. Tarzan has a ward to spot it, and he is going to throw a big sigh and give his red buff away. Scout has first roam. Oh, Tarzan.
Tarzan.
Do not double dip, my friend. It's not worth it. It's one red buff. You don't have flash.
And Scout is here, fully stacked. All it's going to take is one W.
Yeah. Man, this is just war of attrition right here, but Shun stepping too far forward on his lonesome. Has to burn his flash now, so both junglers without their flashes it's just ping galore. All I hear is the ping sound. Everybody wants to fight. Nobody's really going to start it off until Missing gets some autos down onto level 2 Hope. Stun comes across for Tarzan. He's trying to hold the front line. Kael flies in, gets huge knockups. Shanks on the backside, able to clean up one. And now all bets are off, but it's Shanks from the Shroud to find the critical kill. Peyz without mana. Scout not trying to protect his AD carry. Needs to get out of dodge. And the knockup sinks through. Kael gonna gift a kill to Hope. And somehow, some way, AL rescue that bot side jungle escapade.
Rescue, I think, is that perfect word, because before those kills, goodbye.
Oh, Shanks, no! Shanks, Tarzan's, or Scout's the one that gives up these 1v1s. Okay, just a Cali thing.
Don't take it back. Don't take it back. Yeah, I was going to say. That bot lane, that could have been really bad. The fact is, while that whole sequence was going on, Hope and Kael were actually dropping a lot of waves. That's why you're seeing that bit of a CS difference here, and it's going to grow because Missing is able to hold this giant wave that Peyz is going to have an easy time.
Goat support right there.
Getting it. Yeah, so I think what really matters is that I actually think JDG basically come out even in that exchange just because of this big advantage that we're seeing here in the bot lane. Like, look at the difference here in CS. I think Peyz is going to come up to like 20 CS. They're holding the wave here, freezing it, as you said, too. So this was kind of a lot of time for AL to basically go even.
So you look back at this scrap going down. Nobody accounted for Shanks on the back end. That was the one member that JDG maybe had an idea was roaming down, but didn't know exactly where he was until pops over the wall with that Shroud and is the difference maker.
That's right. I mean, bright side, you do get flashes out of Peyz. So it is something Tarzan can look to punish in the coming minutes, especially with these swaps that's starting to come through. AL actually swap a little early here. Give themselves a bit of an advantage, alleviate some of that pressure on the bottom side. It's not going to even out the CS difference quite yet, but the 2v1 is going to give Hope a chance to knock down some plays.
All of them doing a pretty good job farming under this turret 2v1 nonetheless. Feeling pretty comfortable. So we'll see when JDG do initiate that swap back as you were talking about. But on the flip side, they feel comfortable freezing out this Nasus as Scout gets ult first and immediately brings Timbers to the party to give himself a health advantage in this mid lane and couldn't get a plate for it.
Probably will, but I'm curious if Scout is going to stay, because now Shanks is level 6. With that Timbers being out of the picture, there is an opportunity for Shanks to use that perfect execution for a solo kill if he, as soon as Scout uses the stun. So I'm interested to see how that one is going to go. I think otherwise, not a whole lot of skirmishing taking place because of the lane assignments. Gotta imagine JDG will have an easy time securing this dragon, but they actually don't want to try and go for it. Instead, they're just holding the wave here to deny Flandre access. So it is actually going to make things a little harder for this Nest.
Yeah, somebody's got to help Flandre. I mean, this doesn't seem like it's going to break at any point. The level advantage is already there between the top laners purely because of it. Yeah. The dragon does get stopped. Shun doesn't feel comfortable taking the full Drake by himself. And, yeah, we just go back to freeze gate, as I'll call it. I mean, this wave has been stuck here for how long?
That's literally top lane gaming, by the way. That lane state is not Flandre's fault, like, in the slightest.
No.
But he's the one who ends up suffering for it. Yeah.
Oh, my
but
God.
Now,
he's TPing across the map.
I mean.
All right. Here we go. Here's the Wither. It's going to set up the knock-up. There's no ult on the Rakan. Allah going to burn the flash. Get knocked up under his turret. Going to try and throw down the timeout cage. And, hey, survives the 3v1 nonetheless.
Yeah, and look what they give up on the other side, too. And the fact is, Peyz still getting some alone time with this turret. I mean, Missing is there, too. But the fact is, a big wave is being dropped as a result. And the lead just continues to grow between marksmen here on both sides. Peyz is already level 6. Has been part of so many turret plates being taken. And he's 30 CS up now.
Yeah. Even topside, too. Multiple waves up for Allah, who's going to be able to walk back up towards that turret. Shun seeing the grubs going down off the top side overload. We'll pick up the dragon, but this is first turret with full plating. So that's a big cash injection for anyone's legend.
Yeah, I will say 9-minute first brick is a new one. I don't know if I've seen that. Maybe I have. It's just been a while. So at least the plate gold helps AL keep themselves in this very minor aggregate gold lead that we're seeing. but it isn't much, especially if Tarzan dies.
Yeah, Tarzan not going to come across. Shun commits the flash for it. Missing there as well to boost up the Xin Zhao in a rarity.
Okay.
Tarzan caught. Going for Raptors.
And you can already see it there
Scout.
with that gold chart. Peyz has the most gold in the game currently, and he is playing the Lucian. And has a big opportunity to be that carry threat like he was on the Ezreal game 1. Nice thing for AL, Flandre. Can be a thorn in that carry side because he is playing the Nasus. Will have the Wither to limit the DPS that he can do.
Tarzan has ult. Athena kicks off on this top side. Pretty hard to dive a Nasus, though, with that ult up and the Wither. It becomes such a tall task, so they're going to back off as we seem to somewhat be returning to normal lane states after all the shenanigans in those opening 10 minutes. Mid lane going to be occupied by these bot laners as Peyz continues to try and get as much gold out of his lead as he can. Tibbers down onto Shanks in the Shroud. Scott once again a bit more healthy. Going to be able to get control of his wave state as well.
And right now, things are still kind of moving slowly. I'm trying to think of what objectives we could really be fighting for right now. I will say, I didn't notice that the Grubs ended up going over to AL. That could end up being a big advantage, especially if Flandre does end up scaling up and being a really difficult problem to deal with inside lane later on.
Definitely landing in a bit of a lull. And I will say for Scout, it has been, as we go back to that player improvement plan, it hasn't necessarily been like the Yone games where we see him get caught along the sides because of how strong you are in that 1v1 as that duelist that scales really well. It's been picks like this, like the Annie, the Talias, the Rises, those mages that he gets caught a lot on these side lanes. And into an Akali matchup where now Scout is not really going to be favored unless he's got a really big lead. This is where we really test that Scout player improvement plan, I feel.
Yeah, true. Especially if he were to perform well, lead JDG to a 2-0. I mean, this is your improvement plan, but it sounds like to me that would be the plan achieved essentially.
In the Rumble stage, yes. It is
in the Rumble
very much.
No, if you have reservations, please speak to them. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll see once we get to the playoffs. But again, as we talked about, this is a rematch of the winners finals from Split 1 playoffs. This is very much so a preview of what's to come in the playoffs as well, knowing both these teams are locked in. So both these teams should definitely be treating this like a playoffs as Peyz dropping the Cole and gets flashed over by Hope. The engage, though, comes off to the side on a missing. The Nami served up like sushi. Down goes Kael with the flash. Not going to fall with the wind becomes lightning. Scout here, but a bit too late with the stun ready with Tibbers. So the pick found for AL, but what's the cost on the flip end of the map?
It is Ale again getting damage onto these turrets, being that split push menace. He already has the Trinity Force, is able to knock down 2 plates since our conversation about him started. And that's almost 5 plates taken down on that bottom side as well. And I say almost, he's going to easily take it.
Yeah, Shanks it's really hard to ever force a 1v1 into this Yorick once he gets the Maiden stacked up. He gets his ghouls out.
Yeah.
Even the best assassins don't want a piece of that.
No, they really don't. And that's why Shanks can only watch clear waves in the process. But it seems like we're starting to, we're getting to a point where JDG are already starting to kind of get ahead this game. The actual gold lead, if you look at it in aggregate, isn't pretty substantial. But I think like when you look lane by lane individually where it matters, it is a pretty big difference. I mean, again, Peyz's lead, very important, can't be understated. And even Ale is in a really strong position right now. I mean, he's almost half an item up on Flandre, probably a little bit more considering gold he's sitting on. And if he keeps this lead up, it's going to be really difficult to deal with.
And it's so integral to JDG's identity that he has this lead because, like we talked about immediately once we saw the R1 York come across, right, that I wanted to see what was the 4-man hit squad that JDG put together on the flip side to play through. We talked about the Lucian for Peyz already being ahead is a big spot there, but the threat of an Annie stun alongside, Shun with this Crescent Guard that gets a lot of value into a Xayah pick nonetheless. It's going to take a lot for AL to kind of like break this plan that JDG have cemented, and it's going to help that Shanks is getting completely bodied by Allah. That is flash, perfect execution, everything used defensively out of the Akali skin.
They're quite literally just to live, and Shanks still got really low in the process. So JDG gonna have an easy time securing this dragon. It's gonna be their second this game, and they're honestly well on track to go for a Dragon Soul. I'm gonna find out any second now what that soul is going to be. Ooh, Cloud Soul, very fun. Ooh. We all love move speed, guys.
Hey, you know, I'm a fan. For if you're JDG as well, like, let's get that Annie into a position to drop the Tibbers. Let's get the Yorick to chase through. Let's counteract the Wither as best as we can as well.
Very true, yeah. And then you'll see the response, AL. Try to take away resources from the topside jungle. Flandre is going to have a chance to push in this top wave. But, I mean, otherwise, only thing to really fight for right now is Rift Herald. I think JDG are still in a stronger position here. They just have more tools to work with. But I've said that before, and AL have proved me wrong. If they actually want to be in the area, we'll see. Oh.
Scout side lane. Flandre's chasing him down. Tibbers used defensively. Grand Starfall going to come out as well, but Scout goes the right way to get away from Tarzan. And JDG teleport all up here. Everyone's TPing.
Oh my god.
To try and be near this Rift Herald. 5 members strong for both squads, but everything just fizzles out. We just burn a ghost, a Tibbers call, and now the Rift Herald is the real prize for anyone's legend. They are on vision, taking down this Herald. Scout has his stun, back up, but JDG, yeah, great call, BeatDown. They could just index into turrets. They don't need to fight over this Herald, but Shun wants it. He flies in, he goes for the Gambit, but it falls flat, and it costs him his life and the Herald. Tarzan securing both and making it a pretty big win for AL.
Yeah, that was a bit of a flip that didn't really need to happen, but at least now they can block the path from AL, so they can't stop this tier 1 from going down. So it's still more gold for JDG, even though that kill was unnecessary. And now AL have a chance to respond because Shanks is the one actually who's sitting on that eye of the Herald here.
Able to pick that one up. But what a sort of reverse script from what we were expecting out of this series. BeatDown. It feels like right now AL are a lot more confident in fights. These little skirmishes, they've got the kill lead nonetheless, but it's really been the map movements here for JDG. They've been flawless to have them in the marginal gold lead, but more importantly, putting their comp in the exact state they need to win.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we're going to see this replay again, too, where Shun, I think at this point, this was more like he wanted to be annoying and take time, but as soon as he was getting walked down, he's like, oh, I'm dead. All right, time to flip. So I can kind of see the angle there, but again, I think it just would have been the better move to stall and allow Allah to get the mid-tier 1, get that wave in, and just force them to drop resources to secure the Herald.
Really interested to see how JDG can index the push and pull game with this Yorick, knowing that they have the Drake stacking. I think that is such an underrated part of this game state for JDG, knowing that like they can give Drakes to buy Allah so much more space, or if they overload to shut down this Yorick, you can threaten on timers like in a minute 40, hey, we'll be on Cloud Soul Point pre-20 minutes. It's just even more difficult decisions for AL having to make out of this mid game. As the Colin gets dropped there from Peyz, kind of just a bit of a scouting Colin, getting some poke down as Tarzan goes for the engage onto Shun, and Kael immediately snaps forward with the charm. Good flash from Shun to get away from the knockup. The tidal wave comes across the crescent guard. Will it be enough? No! Shun falls, but here comes Allah on the backside. Whoa. Hope gets trapped in the pit, but flashes out himself to safety, and Flandre's here as well to back them all up. The blast cone keeps everyone safe, but Scout flashing forward does not get the stun onto Hope. Perfect Featherstorm channel. Shanks will be the one to pay his life as well, but Scout gets straight out, but here comes Peyz going after Kael, but they've left Allah to his lonesome on the top side here. The main doing a lot of really good job to buy space as Peyz gets flashed on by Tarzan. Does he have enough damage? Kael coming through for the knockup. Yes, he finds the kill. The slippery recon for Kael getting so much value, and now the Withers through. The Nasus is throwing down the hammer, but Allah flies in, executes Kael as this fight gets even murkier. And we end with 3 for 3. Both teams scarily close in the fight.
This is the matchup that we came to see, Slayer. They are scrapping it out. I mean, it's so big for AL in particular. They're the ones down in the series. So it's important for them to be able to try and force these plays so they can get an advantage. We'll see the replay again. I like this catch out there onto Jun. This is a little uncharacteristic, as he's been caught quite a bit so far this game on the Xin. But overall, being able to turn that into a kill and seeing the response from JDG ended up being pretty good, all things considered. They lost their jungle immediately, but being able to get some kills back.
Great Featherstorm, though, from Hope. If he doesn't time this up, it's such a different fight him being able to survive. But we're already seeing the power that Ala on this Yorick has. As we go back live, and oh no, the player improvement plan. No, that's Scout dead on the side lane.
To be fair, we don't know what happened. Maybe it wasn't his fault. It's possible.
It was an overload, and it does get Ala top tier 1. So the Yorick has his own time. Am I just coping? Here we go. We'll find out.
Maybe. Probably. I mean, Ala, worth noting, he does have the second item already. Spear Shojin. It's going to be that much more difficult. I respect Flandre for going for the Frozen Heart. I think it ends up being a good call. And JDG, speaking of, are just going to go ahead and force this. I got to imagine this is a kind of a bait. It's kind of dangerous.
This is risky. They don't have TP advantage. Flandre can join to make this a 5v4. Are they just leashing this Otacon? They use the Tidal Wave, the Crescent Guard, just to back themselves up to safety. The Culling comes down as well. Good Blade Caller. Keeps the Lucian in place from Hope. Everybody going to reset here. Yeah, it's still held by Ala. Scout's running his way over. There's a great Blade Caller again from Hope. This time it catches the Lucian, but Shun flies in, finds both kills onto the bottom lane. Now he's in a 1v3 all by his lonesome, trying to hold the line. So many low health bars. Can Shun clean any of them up? No! He falls to a Flandre double kill. It's all on the solo lane. Scout gets the first stun, drops Tippers onto Flandre's head. He's trying to heal through it all, but here comes the Spade to slap him down from Ala. Another fight, so narrowly close. And it's a 2-on-2 left on the Rift, but the only problem for AL, you're on the wrong side of Summoner's Rift. Shanks has to use the teleport, but he will get himself out to safety, and we have another dead even fight end.
Wow, I mean, that was honestly a surprisingly scrappy fight. And I thought JDG were going to have an easy time securing the Otacon, but Peyz gets punished. He's not playing the Ezreal. He's not as slippery as he was in game 1. And Ale punished him pretty well. No one's going to get the Otacon. We're just going to go back to base. We're going to spend our gold. And we're going to do it all again soon, Slayers. Now, only real objective to be looking for, it's going to be the Otacon for a couple of minutes. So we could see another skirmish like that. Or set up for the Dragon.
There's a run back through this fight that really was just such an aggressive call from JDG in the first place. This really could have been a lot worse, knowing that Scout was having to run all the way over from base.
I will say, it's pretty funny looking at the health bars of AL, because you'd think they were the ones getting caught doing the Otacon. That range damage coming through is really good, but you can see those feathers. Peyz, maybe not timing them correctly, maybe not expecting the Blade Caller to be back off of cooldown, but either way, that's pretty much what prevented JDG from winning the fight and going for the Otacon. It could have been a really big advantage for them.
At the very least, they buy enough time to get Scout over there to even out those odds. And we go back to the strategy game of how much can we play away from this Yorick? How much value does Ala get? With this, you called it out, the Spear Shojin, the Triforce done. This Yorick is really threatening. Stat count, though, for Flandre, he is nearly at 500 at 23 minutes. I know we don't see a lot of Nasus gameplay, but I can tell you that is really good pace for him to be able to match that Yorick scaling factor that we talked about.
Yeah, and again, Frozen Heart is going to be pretty nice this game. Oh, we're fighting.
Peyz again on the front line, but a clutch bubble this time for missing. Stuns Kael in his place. The Rakan pretty low, and that might be enough here for JDG to force another Otacon. Shun wants it. He's immediately jumping on top of it. AL have a clue this is going down. Do they want to go for a part 2 on this topside fight?
I mean, no. Kyle's no ult.
Oh, Peyz! Holy moly, he gets caught by Tarzan, who flash stuns him. That's both summoners off of this Lucian that has to play so close quarters. Otacon getting a ton of damage value done. But I don't know if they want to commit to this fight. AL hopes get caught this time. It's both AD carries trading all their health bars to be able to survive. But Shun also gets out with the Crescent Guard. But here comes Flandre running through them all. He doesn't care about damage. He doesn't care about CC. He's running down JDG, holding 3 at bay. Turns the Wither back on its head as well. The Otacon with the assist, though, for JDG. As down goes Flandre. Tarzan tries to throw up the Unbreakable. It is broken by the Ghouls. Another lengthened fight, but finally we have ourselves a victor, and it's JD Gaming.
Wow, and despite, I really like how Hope played that team fight. The end of it, JDG, their damage is too strong. Ala, I think, is too much of a problem here on this Yorick, and AL are not able to come out on top. Not only do they lose the fight, the Otacon loss is going to be a big one because of the Spirit Blossom petals that have been upgraded for JDG, and we're going to see this fight again. And again, this is what I like to hear from Hope. I mean, he has to go in. He has to force them to engage so that Tarzan and Kael can jump in Flandre as well. So I think it's a good use of Hope's health bar. He is playing Xayah, so it makes a lot of sense. The problem ends up being Shanks just dies before he can have that serious impact, and Flandre has to run because he can't get the close in there on Peyz or missing.
Such small little windows that are costing AL in these fights. A worry we had coming into talking about these top 4 discussions. Now that we know what the top 4 looks like, AL have a predisponence to struggling to close out some of these fights, hand-stiffing their teams, but this time, maybe Shanks could be the hero after he fell short last time. He has a huge flank. They're going after Scout. He has the stun up. He's going to drop it onto Shanks so the Akali can't go in, and by the time he flies in, it's too damn late, because this time, Peyz outputs the damage to maximum, and Ala just chases down Hope, just like that. Boom goes the dynamite, triple to Peyz, ace, JD Gaming.
JDG looking like they want to rush to a match conclusion here, Slayer. They don't want to wait till the 45-minute mark because now they win that fight. They don't even need to get the dragon. They're going to lock down this Baron and get themselves a significant lead.
Again, it's just the marking of Shanks in these fights.
Yeah.
This Akali beatdown is not getting it done for AL, and it's just cost them back-to-back fights and maybe the game at this point.
Yeah, the problem is, too, your target selection is so awful. I mean, again, props to Scout. While being under threat here, being accosted, is immediately recognizing, like, yeah, I'm just going to throw my whole load at Shanks, and then he's going to become useless. Easy clap. And the job is done. The timing there wasn't good because he was stunned up. He couldn't link up with Shanks. And after that, the fight was just too easy. There's really no threat onto the backline here because Shanks' options for targets aren't really good as Akali this game, and if him and Tarzan can't link up to threaten the backline, these fights will never go AL's way.
They do get control of this Cloud Drake, so they're going to even them up. JDG are just way more focused on these mid waves. They've got a huge Baron wave coming in. They do have to be a bit safe about a flank coming down. But maybe the target's going to be Ala, who is still deathless on this Yorick. Oh, man, they really – is this the wrap? Oh, my God. Ala has no idea what's – oh, no way.
I don't even think they have any idea. They
oh, my – he has no idea what he just avoided, Beatdown. He has no clue.
That's – I mean, to some degree, he must have. But that is just – I already didn't like the idea of trying to force this play Slayer, but the fact that Ala just breaks their ankles, just absolutely shatters them, it just makes it feel that much worse because then AL lost so much on the map for literally nothing. Literally.
Legit zero. Not even a flash.
Yeah.
Not even like
not even a spell.
Scare.
Not even a skill.
Nothing. Just
no
right
mana.
Clicks. Right clicks costed them 2 tier 2 turrets. And you know things are going bad when an AD carry is confident stepping up to an Akali. That's where Peyz is at.
Yeah.
It's not me. They're knocking down the inhibitor 2-3 turret. At some point, AL, we're going to have to start gambling. We're going to have to start forcing fights to try and climb back in this one, or it's going the same way of the first round robin. There's Shanks trying to start it off with the Grand Starfall. Peyz does commit the flash to get back, and they do catch missing out. Use a lot of ultimates to kill him off, but they also have Shun caught. Goes forward, the Crescent Guard gets a huge heal, buys enough time for Scout to fly in. He doesn't get the stun on the Timbers, but sets up Peyz, who will break through the Tarzan E once more. It's just not enough, and All is doing it all on his own in the mid lane. That that's going to do
There's
it.
a cleanse.
No 45 minutes, nothing needed, just domination from JDG. They will head into playoffs, the number 3 seed, 5-0 in their last series, 10-0 in their last games, on top of the LPL, heading into playoffs.
And AL's last gasp as they watch JDG take their Nexus. They're going to get 0-2'd, and they can't overcome these top teams.
Wow. You know, standings are one thing beat down, but we talked about the top of show momentum. Is there a scarier team than JDG right now? That's my question.
Maybe not. That was a pretty convincing game, too, overall. Again, I think draft was a little tough, especially playing the Akali into the Annie, which is, less than ideal circumstances. I think we got to give a lot of praise to Scout for how well he was able to mark him, as you called out, Slayer, and limiting his impact this game. I think that last fight really tells you all we really need to know about how good this comp could have done, the damage potential of this dive, that they were able to actually get some really good damage on, get some good kills, but these long fights don't go their way because the Annie is too strong. They weren't able to get a really good advantage for the Nasus as well. I think the early lane phase actually really hurt AL, and they weren't able to recover.
It was disastrous. I mean, how long did that I can't get over it. That bot lane freeze, I think that wave state was stuck there for like 2 minutes of game time, which is like an eternity.
To not be farming, to not be getting experience, yeah, it's tough. And Yorick is that kind of problem where even going even, he is a difficult champion to deal with. Now, getting ahead, it's only that much more difficult. And it's tough, too, because you do this lane swap the way they did to at least get Xayah back into the game. But Peyz, unfortunately for AL, was able to maintain his advantage. And, of course, Ale also got his, too.
Yeah, and again, for Peyz, right? Like, I know right now he's playing out of his mind, like a late surge for like MVP talks, but what he is at his core is just consistency. Like he had maybe one misstep at that first Otacon fight where he has to blow both summers, but outside of that, it's just impossible to like really like disrupt him. And when he isn't the focal point and the JG are playing so well, like you mentioned, like a deathless Yorick game for Ala, Scout was doing so well, that's what makes JDG so scary. It doesn't need to be a superstar Peyz like 1v9. That's not when they're most scary. It's that game 2 that you just saw from JDG that makes them a dark horse for taking this whole split in my mind.
And this is what people mean when they call them a giant. You're right. It isn't just Peyz in the bot lane. You look top to bottom on their best day. JDG really looked like they can take it to anybody in the LPL. And it really feels like that's kind of what it comes down to with great LPL performances. Like, who is performing on the day? Because so many of these teams, so many different times, are able to make it happen.
So the 2-0 back-to-back for JDG. I don't know if we have updated standings, so I don't know if we can throw that one up. But that does wrap up any sort of movement about 2 days short, or do we do have the update? Hey, man, Kelsey, the GOAT,
my
just
goat.
on top of that, my GOAT. So they're 12-6. That's not the main point. The game difference is what to look at. So no matter what BLG does next series, a 2-0 nothing, they will not catch up to JDG's game score. So the entire Group Ascend is locked into their place outside of those play-in teams. 6 and 7, WE and Weibo are going to be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, but really what matters is just that, again, the top 4 from Group Ascend who don't have to play the play-ins are locked, will continue to be locked, and will be unchanged. Even the top 5, because you mentioned at the top of show, IG guaranteed to play EDG as well in their first play-ins match. So now it's just going to be about whatever movement can go on elsewhere to get yourself the best seeding for play-ins and hope that you can actually make it to playoffs.
It is, looking at the standings, it is wild to think about this win streak when we factor in game score, right? Because JDG, they were up there with top esports AL and BLG. They all have like double-digit win scores right now. And JDG are there, but they're there beat down because they won 10 games in a row. It was 4 before this win streak.
It was pretty good. To be fair, it's not like they beat because it was, what was it, Weibo, FPX, Ninjas in Pajamas, and BLG, to be fair, who are in
BLG, anyone's legend. So towards the back half, it was good. But yeah, you're right. They did mop up the lower level competition. But for this Rumble stage, like that was a really big problem in the first half of the round robin. Like everybody was losing to everybody. I think we have the circle of suck, as we've dubbed it, graphic actually ready. Like
that's pretty funny.
This doesn't exist unless everybody's losing everybody. So yeah, let's throw up this chaos. Is the summoning circle, as you called it, Beatdown.
That's pretty funny. This actually wasn't the image that I was thinking.
Oh.
I'll find the one I'll show you after, but this is even funnier, and honestly is aptly named the Circle of a Suck. So, now that we are talking about it, and now that you mention it, I will give credit, actually, because even though, JDG, part of their win streak, most of it was on teams bottom half of Group Ascend, and the fact is, in this league, just being able to consistently win should be celebrated.
Yeah, I like the big pitch coming into the second half of the Rumble stage, like those second half round robins for AL and JDG, along with like the IG, BLG, top esports teams, was just consistency, like getting win streaks together, because that was like not a thing in the first round robin.
Right.
But like top esports was the team that played the most single games of the first half, because they always went to 3 games, like against everybody, and that was the number 1 seed, and the 1 seed that stayed the 1 seed the entire split long as we got to the end.
I mean, it was about more practice. So really, IG, or rather top esports, excuse me, it's big brain slayer. More practice, more games, you perform better when it really matters. So I mean, they're just playing. They're on another level, man. I don't know what to tell you.
They are indeed on another level. For anyone's legend, they do end on a loss streak going into the playoffs. So it's back to the drawing board. They'll have a lot of time off to try and figure out what kind of has gone wrong, as you mentioned, Beatdown, against some of those top-tier opponents, like their other playoff teams going into that bracket, no matter who comes out of the play-ins.
Yeah, and I mean, takeaways from this series for me on AL is just hoping that they're able to clean up their responses to objective takes and things like that, just because I think it's been not a great look for them so far. I think JDG, while playing really well this series, are getting away with a lot more than they really should be. I think that's something that will hurt anyone's legend big time in playoffs.
And again, this is the team that were the favorites to win the title in the Split 1 playoffs before the lower bracket run of top esports, and really are expected to be another title contender and even look further towards a potential MSI upbringing for this team. So Gotta patch up a lot going into that playoffs. Do want to quickly shout out those. This is the last time we'll see anyone's legend. Big shout out to Patty that does our on-site interviews. We got an awesome one with Flandre if you want to check out more of the insight into him and just like generally anyone's legend as a team, stylistically, and like just the boys, I guess. That's how the fellas are doing.
Yeah. I mean, and he talked about improvement overall as a player and a team. How he uses experience to help out, his younger teammates and things like that. It is actually a really nice interview. Patty does a great job, so definitely recommend checking it out.
Time for the final point, though, here as we close out the series. Beatdown, first thing I'll ask you, player of the game for Game 2, and then if we want to just between you and I, who feels like a series MVP? Okay, so let's get the easy one out of the way.
I mean, I feel like we just got to give it to Allah. On the Yorick, he was Mr. Problem this game. And while I will say, I think Peyz and Missing laned really well early to create the advantage that won JDG the game. I think overall, Ale was the one who just played out. He played out the 1v2 really nicely. He was able to do a lot of work in side lane, and he team fought really nicely too.
So Ale grabs his 5th player of the game of the entire calendar year on a deathless Yorick performance that was, as Beatdown put it, just terrorizing and problematic from the get-go for anyone's legend.
Yes.
So we say goodbye to two of our 4 playoff teams for Group Ascend. You won't be seeing JDG or anyone's legend for a while, as they have to now wait out the play-in stage to see who their opponents will be in that one. But don't worry, we have some other playoff teams on tap for you guys coming up in our next matchup. It will be slotted in 4th playoff team, number 4 seed BLG, taking on Invictus Gaming. Will the win streak prevail for 6 in a row for IG, or will BLG head into playoffs on a win streak of their own? We'll find out after an extended break. See you guys on the other side.